The term of the Defence Force Chief Angus Campbell has been extended for 2 years in a move the government hopes will provide stability as it moves to implement the AUKUS sub-deal. For analysis, let's bring in Greg Sheridan, foreign editor at The Australian. Greg, what's your read on this? Is it the right call?
No, I don't think it is, Kieran. So, Angus Campbell and the others who've been reappointed, they're all fine men. They're all virtuous individuals, patriotic Australians, brave, whatever you want to say about them. But look, in defence more than any other area of government policy, the electorate, the community, all of us are entitled to pay on results. And the results have been absolutely appalling for 15 years. This is like a football club which has won the wooden spoon for 15 years in a row. The new owners of the club have come in and said, well, guess what? We're going to fix everything, but we're going to stick with the same coach and the same players. I mean, these are the guys who have overseen every naval acquisition grow topsy-turvy in the design so that it becomes super heavy, has all kinds of bespoke Australian requirements, blows out wildly in cost, gets delayed for years and years and years. All these defence projects of concern, these are the guys who oversaw an inexplicable delay of 2 years after the last government announced it was going to have a sovereign guided weapons capability, that is to say missile manufacturing in Australia. It took them 2 years to announce their industry partners, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, the two companies that make the overwhelming majority of our missiles. Industry was sitting around wondering what the government was doing. Now, I think Richard Marles is a really capable Defence Minister, and I think he has good instincts and, more important than that, good policy commitments. But for Australia to acquire meaningful defence capabilities in a relevant timeframe is going to need a complete change of culture in the defence organisation. Now, these are the guys who have overseen the absolutely ineffectual, dysfunctional, hopeless defence culture we've had for the last 15 years. I'm not filled with confidence that they can change it all on a dime.
Yeah, well, OK, we'll see. An ambitious timeline that they're still articulating. Let's look at the Prime Minister at NATO in Madrid. He's going to be holding a bilateral, incidentally, Greg, in the next hour with Boris Johnson. Interesting to see the dynamic there, given Scott Morrison and Bojo seem to be quite close.
Yeah, well, look, I think the new government is doing very well on foreign affairs. I've got tremendous admiration for Albanese, Marles and Wong in everything they've done in the first few weeks. I bet Bojo talks about subs because at some point you've got to get to the moment of truth. Now, Peter Dutton said that if he'd stayed in office, we were going to choose Virginia-class subs and get them built in America. That means the Brits get nothing out of this. And Dutton further said that in order to keep the Brits sweet, we'd continue with the frigate deal, even though it's wildly overweight, wildly over budget, wildly delayed, and is not fit for purpose. It's not a modern warship. It can't fight against a Chinese warship. Now, I bet Bojo wants to talk to Albo about how many billions of dollars the Brits are going to make out of the AUKUS subs. And the normal thing in this circumstance is simply to delay decisions forever so that you never offend anybody. Whereas Richard Marles told us yesterday that we're going to have hard decisions by next March. Which sub we're getting, how long it takes, and what we're going to do in the interim in the inevitable capability gap. So I don't think much of that will get out into the public statement that the two Prime Ministers released, but I bet that's part of the discussion.